Right. So here's Stetson Kennedy's home. If you look in the inside, it's really beautiful. We have Karen, you're gonna have to turn that off.
A delay. You can turn the volume off.
All right,
you can see it.
So this is all testing. So y'all, we're waiting for people to get on here. We're expecting lots of people to come out and check it out. This is Brad.
Hello, everybody.
Brad, of course, some of you know, some of you don't, with Jacksonville Songwriter Residency, and also part of the Stetson Kennedy Foundation. He actually was a big part of starting this artisan resident in the in Beluthahatchee. And he's come back to do it again.
So our work is never done.
Yes, sir. Yeah. That reminds me of folk singers and stuff. What is your work?
My work is to condense the human experience into a very short, digestible, beautiful song.
That's beautiful.
And there's endless things that we can write about. You know, you can write about I'm looking at the reflection off the water on the tree right outside right now, and it's beautiful.
Yeah, this place is beautiful.
So, and obviously there's a lot going on in the world right now, and we're all trying to listen and understand each other's point of view and empathize with each other, because we know we're all suffering is a universal human experience. We all experience in different ways. And so I think, to me, songwriting has been a way for me to understand myself more. And through knowing myself more and sharing those experiences, I'm human, everybody's human, we can all relate to those experiences.
It seems like music is almost like a good lubricant to help people understand what you're feeling and how maybe even the reflection of what the world's going on filtered through, in this case, Brad.
Yeah, and you put it in a beautiful package that is supposed to soothe your soul.
Yes, sir. Yeah. Now, I noticed that you have two St. Johns County heroes sitting next to you on Stetson Kennedy's couch. Who are they?
Well, right over here we have Stetson Kennedy. I'm sitting here on his sofa right now. We're in his house. And over here is Woody Guthrie, who is a very famous visitor of Beluthahatchee Park.
Right.
He actually was friends with Stetson Kennedy and would come here in the early 1950s. Even while Stetson wasn't even here, Woody would come and spend time. And so it's just little old me in between two great people.
Oh, you're too humble, Brad. You've got some powerful songs. I've heard them. I've been with you when you've been writing them. You definitely have a good filter for what's going on in this world. And to have these two superstars literally right next to you is framing you out. And there's a support. I see it as that way.
They're like my elders,
yeah,
my ancestors.
There you go. And you've been inspired, is what you've told me, time and time again. Where is this Beluthahatchee when I first met you? And because I want to find out more about Stetson Kennedy, and I really, really appreciate Woody Guthrie, and I want to know where he wrote songs.
Yeah.
And that's how we got here, man. That was, what, 6 years ago?
Yeah.
That's insane.
It's amazing. When I moved to Jacksonville, I had no idea that I would be sitting here right now doing what we're doing. But I thought about that, and I wrote a line in one of my songs. It's like, if you're on the right road, you're going to get there.
Yeah, that's right.
And that was inspired by my experience here. It's like sometimes, especially when you're a wanderer like me, you don't necessarily know where you're going. You're wandering. And sometimes it takes a long time, but then you end up getting in the right place somehow.
But if you focus too much, at least in some of my experience, you focus on where I want to be, and you might miss the journey to get there.
Or you might get it as soon as you get there, you realize that's not where you wanted to be.
That's right. I've been there. I've been to that place too.
How did I get here?
That's right.
But when you wander, you discover something that maybe you didn't even know.
I think that's the artist's job, whether it's in the mind, in the heart, or actually foot on the trail. It's to wander and to wonder.
Yeah.
You know, mixing them up together. You know.
Exactly. So how are we doing? Is this out there? And
I think this is out there. We got a couple people checking it out already. There's about 4 people on this one. And
what time is it?
What time we got? I can't look.
Are we at 2 o'clock yet?
We are there.
All right. Did you see if it was going from the foundation website too?
I just shared it to all of them.
Okay, awesome.
So hopefully
All right, well,
it's there.
So one thing I want to say before you start there is this is the Songwriter Resident, and you are a big founder of Artist in Residence, Songwriter Resident, and we hope to have more artists sitting on Stetson's couch in the future.
Yeah.
How do you perceive that? How do you perceive that before you start in this Father's Day gift of a concert? And it is a gift, by the way. You know, we are accepting donations for the Stetson Kennedy Foundation, but you know, you're here gifting your time for us.
Yeah. Well, I have to say this couch is very comfortable.
Nice.
Like, Stetson had really good taste in couches. Sofa. I don't know. Is this a sofa or a couch? I was been wrangling my brain like, what is
It's actually a pull-out bed.
Oh, don't tell me that. It's you know, I feel grateful to be here, and I know all the other artists that have come here have reiterated the same sentiment that they felt what a special place this is and what an amazing experience it is to be hosted here by the Stetson Kennedy Foundation and the St. Johns County Parks Department. And you know, it's entertaining. I've been here, 3 days, and I've already written 3 new songs. So it's like, this is a special place, and this was truly meant to be, and this is what Stetson wanted. And I'm just happy, you know.
Al says it's sideways.
How do you change it? It's always on mine.
Streaming.
You want me to go straight up with it?
It's saying we're working the
I could try it.
Yeah.
I have no idea, but you guys are gonna have to figure it out the best you can.
All right, I'm gonna try to work on this while we're doing this. I could restart it if you'd rather me restart it.
I don't know if that's a good idea, but it's
Just keep going.
this is the first stream from Stetsons. So bear that in mind.
There you go.
It was a little bit of a learning curve, and but I know everybody who comes is gonna be happy to do this again in the future. So
Yeah, just turn it on the side.
It is.
Yeah.
That's what you're gonna get at this point.
all right. Well, here's a song that I wrote last time I was here, back in 2016, because that was actually the test pilot for the Songwriter in Residence program. And I was here from, I think it was February 2016, and it definitely exceeded my expectations, and I was going into it knowing how beautiful and amazing this place was. But this was like my ode to Woody. This is like my most Woody Guthrie type song. And it's all the story about what it's like to be a musician. It's called Free Market Music. Well, I've got to prove myself every single day in a different town across the USA. Now once in a while I might get something free. Armor's too slow when the things are bowing on me. Now the traders on Wall Street, they have a divine plan. What's good for their investors ain't always good for man. So just pay the workers for the labor of our hands. And now I'm speaking up from all of our demands. Free market music, you better not abuse it. For some poor musician suffering. Technology is great, but it ain't always good. So pay musicians what you should. Well, I've heard it all before from people in the know. Just sell a bunch of t-shirts or tickets to a show. Now if you had to live upon that income stream, I know you'd buy that tune if you know what I mean. 'Cause I know what it's like to be homeless. I know what it's like to be poor. I want a world filled with music and pay musicians what we're working for. Pay musicians what we're working for. Free market music, you better not abuse it. 'Cause some poor musician suffering. Well, gratitude is great, but it won't buy me food. So throw some dough in my now even stuff like democracy, and maybe someday music can be free. But if we can't solve inequality, then show people what we need. 'Cause if I can't buy a home or pay my food and home, well, if you want a healthy economy, then pay me something so that I can breathe. Pay me something so that I can breathe. Free market music, better not be a musician suffering. Technology is great, but it ain't always good. So pay the people what you should.
Beautiful.
Little dust ball there. Well, that's I think things that I thought about in the whole coronavirus thing happened. As we're out there, like, very concerned about the future of music. And I mean, things are tough as a musician when times are good. So imagine now where our whole livelihoods taken away from, and a lot of people. I've heard some stories, people not being rejected from unemployment and then not being able to work and having all their jobs canceled. So I just wanted to say, hey, all you hardworking musicians out there, and we need to come together and organize, and the community needs to support our musicians to keep. Because when this pandemic is over, back to normal or whatever that is, we need to be here and thriving. So,
Brad, what's some ways that people can, like you say that, but like, sitting at home, I'm enjoying music, but how can I support you when I can't go out and see you in a band and put you money in a tip jar and like that kind of stuff? How can we support you?
Well, the number one way is by paying for music.
Yep.
Yep. Discovering music for free is one thing, but if you want to support that artist, I agree there should be no barrier to listen to music, and you're coming back and buy it because properly and make it sound good, so that I know Bandcamp have been really supportive of artists where they're waiving their fee Friday during the pandemic. There is a virtual tip jar.
Yep.
A lot of artists are doing that. If you're in a position to do more than just merch, consider doing that. I mean, sometimes you can be the person who makes that week happen for an artist, whether it's going to the grocery store, putting gas in the car, or whatever it is, pay it forward kind of thing.
Sure.
And so,
that's helpful.
You were talking, it is Father's Day, and
right.
because your father, Joe, last time I was here, I spent a whole day with him, and we were talking about a lot of things, but we were just talking mostly about the heart energy.
By the way, they're listening.
Oh,
Joe.
Hey, Joe. How you doing? So, and I, came back to the residence after that, and my heart definitely makes my decisions for me, not my brain.
Right.
Because, it's such a rational pursuit. It's more of a passion than a career.
And I'm assuming you're talking about the discussion where the settlers first came to Turtle Island, or America now is known. They missed by 13 to 18 inches. And they came with their head and missed. They should have came with their heart.
Right.
That was the conversation you were probably talking about, right?
It was a long day.
But you made a song about it.
Yeah.
Kind
and it's called My Heart Tells Me Yes, but My Mind Tells Me No. Well, my heart tells me yes. Tell my heart to decide which way to go. When it's gonna blow. When my heart tells me yes, but my mind tells me no. Well, I wake up every morning very high. By the time I go to bed, I'm still wondering why. Every moment is struggle and strife, when I should be out there living my life. Well, who am I to tell me that I'm wrong? Do I believe myself or the singer of this song? Manic depression, it comes and it's gone. Well, I hope it comes quick, 'cause it's lasting too long. My heart wants to live, and my mind is fed up to hear with all this conflict and blame. Now I know the cause of suffering. The cause of suffering. It's my heart tells me yes, but my mind tells me no. It's so hard to decide which way to go. When it's gonna blow. My heart tells me yes, but my mind tells me no. Now it's so easy for me to give, 'cause giving's what got me, what I need to live. Sometimes waiting for it to come back. Well, it's hard when I know what I lack. Well, it's not so easy to know what to do with all these barriers that you got to go through. I try to be still, even the Buddha cried. 'Cause I know my heart wants to live, and my mind is fed up to hear with this conflict and blame. I know the cause of rain. And I sing, well, I know I need help, but there's none to be had. But I will never quit, no matter how bad.
Nice.
Wow, so relaxing here. Yeah, so those were a couple songs from my previous album, Real Job. And another song that I wrote while I was here too was this next. I was thinking a lot about my family, Italian Americans. My father came from Italy about 100 years ago, a little bit more now, but at the time it was about 100 years. And I was just thinking about, the immigrant experience and what it's like to come to a country where you don't know that many people and leaving your homeland behind and all this sort of stuff. And so I wrote this song. It's like my family's history. I think it's going to be similar to a lot of family's history too. If your family came from someplace else, you're an immigrant too. So. When my great-grandpa was just 13, he came all the way from Italy, sailing on a ship to the land of hope and freedom. Well, he wanted to escape poverty. Well, here's a little history. America should have named Vespucci. Now, a few years later, they hacked because the powers that be are on the attack. And he swore us all an oath of loyalty. To be part of this great citizenry, he had to prove his bravery. So he got a Purple Heart, and now we are freedom. Well, I love immigration. I love immigration. It's the force brought me to this nation. So use your imagination. It's a journey, not a destination. Put your ignorance in hibernation. Now, if you're one for irony, you had to stop speaking openly. Change his name because people called us names. Worked real hard in a factory and started my family. And because of people like us, you've got spaghetti. Well, I love immigration. I love immigration. It's the force brought us to this nation. It's not an investigation, not a reason for interrogation. So put your ignorance in hibernation. Now, I never met an immigrant that I didn't like. They just came here for a better life. 'Cause our restaurants need diversity. Heck, I was just looking at my DNA. I'm pretty much a mutt in every way. So I hate 'cause I can't hate myself. Now, unless you're Native American, I got some good information. You probably better stop complaining. 'Cause for every incarceration, you could have had some education. So forget your walling in this exploitation. Well, I love immigration. I love immigration. It's the force that brought us to this nation. So use your imagination, it's a journey, not a destination. Put your ignorance in hibernation.
Beautiful. Brad, you have a way of taking very complex concepts and even difficult concepts to even talk about, and you make them sound so sweet and easy to experience. It's a really powerful style.
I appreciate that. Yeah, I took a long time to figure out. It's a form of diplomacy,
Sure.
and it's something that you have to learn. You know, how to say things. The right people can accept them.
Yeah, you definitely are. It's more of my point of view. It's easy to hear what you have to say, regardless if somebody agrees with it or not. It's easy to hear it.
Yeah, like that song in particular. I only had, thousands of times all over the world, and I only had one person get angry and stand up and say something to me, and then his girlfriend told him to shut up and sit back down.
That's awesome.
So I was just
Did he?
yeah.
Yeah. That's
So-
awesome. Yes, you better.
I mean, we're not. I'm not trying to hurt anybody here. You know, it's like this is the way of peace. You know.
What you got for us?
Today is Father's Day, and it's a special day for everybody. But my father's no longer with me, and it was funny. This is another song that I wrote while here, and I didn't even realize it, but my mom actually told me. She's like, "Oh, I thought that song was about your father." And so sometimes you write things and you don't even know what it means.
That's right.
There's different layers of meaning too. There's like, what does it mean to me? What does it mean to you? And then over time, change.
That's right.
So you don't have like total control. Even though you're writing the words and you're singing the words, you don't really have total control over it. So
It's just the way you look at something. The thing that you look at changes.
yeah. But this song is called "Don't Let the Dreamers Die," and that was another thing. At the time, I just meant generally a dreamer as, but we all know that we have people living in this country who are dreamers.
So title.
And so we need to support them because they're American too. And luckily, this is what I mean by like you write something and you don't necessarily know what we're doing.
Right.
The significance it'll have. Sometimes you find dreams and fail. Sometimes you make a mistake and end up in jail. Everyone knows someone that we love who needs our help when trouble comes. So don't let dreamers die. Someday you wish that we were there to give you hope when no one cares, and the courage when no one dares. I know that laughter saved our, but music saved my soul. So it's time for us to share, 'cause life is not every problem that we face has a human cause or trace. Don't stick your head into the sand when you can lend a helping hand. So don't let the dreamers die. Someday you wish that we were there to give you hope but no one cared, and the courage one day. So many people drown in pain, some unknown and some in fame. Hard to just get through your day. You need to know that it's okay. So don't let the dreamers die. Someday you wish that we were there to give you hope no one cares. Courage. But no one there.
Happy Father's Day, Dad.
Yeah. Happy Father's Day. Actually, you know, I'm a doggy daddy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But my dad's way far away in New York City. So,
In good hands.
yeah. Yeah, so like after I did the residency and released the album, I ended up moving to Nashville, Tennessee, which you all know is the songwriting capital of the world. So I was like, well, I want to go to Nashville and, you know, be part of all that and experience that. And it was a great place. And so I wrote some songs while I was there. I'm going to play for you now that are going to be on my new album, Go With The Flow, which is going to come out soon. Maybe September.
Yes.
I don't know. It's been hard. The last year has been very indecisive. Put it that way.
Gotta go with the flow, right?
Yeah. So anyway, and then right as 2020 has been pretty crazy for Zin and me, and I went to a festival, the 38 Songwriters Festival in the Panhandle. I went to New Orleans for Alliance International Conference. Then I went to Nashville because I was going to drive. I had got a job driving somebody else on tour for a month. And I came back and I was like in New York, and when this whole thing started, you know, so I locked down in New York City. But, you know, one good thing that happened, I found out that I had one of my songs was selected as a finalist at the Chris Austin Songwriting Contest at Merlefest. And they had to cancel the festival for this year, but I'll be there singing this song. And this was like one of the first songs I wrote when I got to Nashville. And it's kind of a love song, but the way I write love songs, something always else creeps into it. Never just like, and then I was like trying to write this song from another person's perspective, and then one day I realized, I was like, wait, is this about me? Then
it's always about you, bro.
No. I was trying to get out of myself. So, but.
You got big props on the immigration song, by the way. And another person's like, yeah, it's just like being there. So thank y'all for doing this. So people responding. And
yeah, if you're listening and you want to send some comments this way, you know, we appreciate. That's the hardest thing about doing the streaming is not having that audience feedback. But Iolani is here with St. John's County Natural from the Stetson Kennedy Foundation. So they're keeping me company,
right.
keeping me motivated here. So, this song is called South Dakota. And this was another thing. I've played in 47 of the 50 states, but I had never, before I wrote the song, I hadn't been. And then I got invited to play a song. I got invited to play a festival in South Dakota last summer. And I was like,
did you play the song?
Mm-hmm. So it's song is, you have to be careful because it can conjure up things too. I mean, usually it's good, but you do have to be careful. She came from South Dakota, tore apart her heart. So good and now I'm trying to meet a star. Like the stars align just as I had in mind. Since I am an optimist, I took it South Dakota. I know you. Though I've been gone to jump right in. From what I've seen, I really like it. And your lips just might be the right fit. I know it sounds silly that you might meet that with someone, and you're all out all by yourself, and you feel like you got no one. She grabbed my arm sweetly, kissed me down. There is no way this could be random. South Dakota, I already know you. Though I've never been, I'm gonna jump right in. From what I've seen, I really like it. And your wish just might be the right trip. All of my friends were watching. I wondered what love must look ridiculous to those who have forgot. What am I to do when I dream about that night? I guess go find somebody else till we get it right. So I already know. Though I've never been, I'm gonna jump right in. I really like it, and your lips just might be right. Crazy at the grass, Deadwood, Black Hills to the Badlands. Buffalo wounded knee, Black Elk speaks. They stole the gold and traded of dust for South Dakota. I already know ya. Though I've never been, I'm gonna jump right in. From what I've seen, I really, and your wish just might be the right trip, and your lips just might be right. Yeah. So, you know, I do have like kind of a funny comedic side, to myself. When I was younger, I was even funnier. I was just like, but
Aren't we all? We're younger.
yeah. I mean, I'm still pretty funny too now. But one day I was just thinking, I was like, because I screw up a lot of things when in my life, but like everybody does, and I'm just like, oh man, one day I was just like one mistake after the other, and so I was like, I need to write a song called "One Mistake After the Other," and so I did, and I don't know, I've heard other people say this in other ways, like even Andrew Yang, I saw tweeted the other day, he's like, I failed and I failed and I failed until I succeeded. So, but this is a song.
That was Abe Lincoln. Failed and failed and failed until he made president.
Yeah.
Pretty amazing.
Well, hey. I have to. I have to.
That's too much thought right there, Brad. I'm sorry.
No, I'm afraid to give a shout out Sarah Lee Guthrie because she used to say to me, she's like, Brad, you should be president. And I was like,
that's awesome.
Brad for president.
I'm like, okay. I'm like, Sarah Lee, I love you, but like, I don't know if that's a good idea. I'm not qualified, but yeah. But
take halvesies. She could be the other half of the president.
Yeah.
Okay. There you go.
Rome tried that with the count, and the Caesar just like crushed them. So, but anyway, this is called "One Mistake After the Other." Well, you can't fix all the broken things in life. You can't sit around all night crying that you've been hurt. Well, I love to live and learn, but I always make things worse. 'Cause nothing's fair in all the universe. 'Cause it's just one mistake after. Make a wish and then try harder. Some people don't even bother, and that is why they're sad. Now falling down so many times, which way is up? And just like everybody else, I think I've had enough. Well, I don't seem to tell you things that you already know. Some of us are just a little bit slow to know that it's one mistake after the other. Make a wish and then try harder. Some people don't even bother, and that is why they're sad. It's just one mistake after the other. Make a wish and then try harder. Some that is why they're sad. That is why they're sad. Yeah. Well, here we are, Beluthahatchee.
What does that mean? Beluthahatchee.
I know, but can you?
That's spit on me. I was throwing you out. You just switched it back.
We were funny. We were around the edible walk at Alpine Grove Park the other morning. Ailani was guiding a bunch of people, and you'd come up to a plant every one time, and there's like the common name and the scientific name. And there was this one guy, George. I don't know. Hopefully he's watching, but who always knew the scientific name.
Yeah, he's good at it.
And I said, George, I'm like, this is like community-based consciousness. It's like like one person can't have, if you try to remember everything, as soon as you put one, something else comes out, and then what?
So Stetson Kennedy was good friends with Zora Neale Hurston, right?
Yep.
And she said something about an African mythological place called Beluthahatchee, where all unpleasantry is forgotten and forgiven. So it was something that you kind of said, hey man, this really bad thing happened. I tried, I messed up. You'd say, take it to Beluthahatchee. So it's forgotten and forgiven.
Nice.
So this became the place where you can go meditate or relax or write music and forget those things that you may have done in the past and be forgiven for those. Forgiveness has nothing to do with the other person. It's a selfish act. Forgiveness is about you and yourself. So it's the things within yourself. And so Beluthahatchee.
What did I do though?
I don't know.
I'm just
What'd you
kidding. I'm just kidding.
Place of peace.
Yes.
Definitely feel that. Yeah.
And of course, Stetson clearly a presence in time. I'd recommend that you call. The only way you're going to be able to see this place is through a tour.
Tours are all by point.
Yep.
Stetson Foundation, Facebook.
Yeah. Do you want to see this cat right now?
Here, I'll even do this for a
stories.
second. There's guests in here. I'll do a slight kind of, you get to see a little bit of the inside of Stetson house. There's the kitchen where Stetson was a famous cook in. Come and see it in person. I'm not showing you the Woody Guthrie room on purpose. You're going to have to come in person for that one.
Yeah. Okay. So this is here's another song. How are we doing on time, by the way? I'm gonna do a couple more.
I have no idea.
244.
All right, good.
Yeah, a couple more songs we can squeeze in there, huh?
Yep. So I was in Paris, France, and I was like played a show, and the sound guy really liked. He's like, "Hey man, do you want to go to a party for this?" So I was like, "Okay, it's my last night in Paris. I want to go to this party." So I went to the party, and I was talking to a bunch of Parisians, like the ones who could speak English, because I don't speak French, and they all kept saying, "Oh, I'm like, oh, well, I'm from New York, but I lived in Florida and Nashville and da da da." And they're like, "Well, how do you like Paris?" And I'm like, "Oh, I love Paris. It's a beautiful city to walk. The spirit, it's so poetic, and da da da. The food." And they're like, "Ah, oh, I hate Paris." And I was like, "Wow." And the thing that I found interesting, I thought about later, is that people always have like a love-hate relationship from where they're from. They're like, whether it's Jacksonville or Nashville or Paris or some little town in the middle of nowhere. You always and I always. It's weird for me because I usually like almost anywhere I go. And so sometimes I do get people saying to me, like, why do you like it here? And I'm like, well, I'm only here for a day, so, but also I just realized, change, you should love where you live. I mean, just because you criticize something doesn't mean right,
But it's also a good reason to go travel so you can know why to love it. Because without knowledge of the rest of anywhere else, all you know is that one thing.
Right.
So
that's
go try, experience it, and come back and see.
Exactly. Many times I've said to people, you have no idea how good you have it here. And So, but anyways, I was like thinking back to when I was in high school. And I grew up in a suburban town that me and my friends thought was boring. It was small, but and we all wanted to like move to New York when we went to college, and most of us did. And so I wrote this song about that, and it's called "Don't Hate Your Hometown." And it's interesting when I play it, a lot of people remember that song. And they're like, "Don't hate your hometown," because like anybody, no matter where you're from, you can relate. Whether you live there, have moved there, or from someplace else. I think most people, if they saw where I grew up, would be like, "Oh, this is amazing. This is great." But it's all about your perspective. When I was a kid, my friends fooled around. We were easily bored, so fun had to be found. We got into some stuff, we talked about art, stayed up late at night and played the guitar. People thought we were weird because we dreamed very far. Well, sooner or later, we had to depart. We looked to the city, oh, didn't it look pretty? The Big Apple was waiting, so that was the plan. Don't hate your hometown. Don't hate your hometown. When your friends aren't around, you might miss your hometown. So long, and we wondered why we took the hardest road that you're gonna find. Expectation, realization, self-destruction. We pondered the pointlessness, we cried through the hopelessness, and watched as it wasted the world's most precious gift. Don't hate your hometown. Don't hate your hometown. When your friends aren't around, you might miss your hometown. Well, now that I'm old enough to try and look back, I see my mistakes and I just have to laugh. 'Cause it is so hard and we have to choose. You have to lose, and that is a fact. Now you're probably wondering, what is my point? To uplift this solitude or get out of this joint. Well, I needed you, and you need me too. I know how I wish you'd seen it through. Don't hate your hometown. Don't hate your hometown.
Beautiful.
And that goes out to you, Jacksonville.
There you go.
Even if you do change your name. I'm
Yeah.
just kidding.
Calford.
I'm just kidding.
Actually, I think Calford would be hilarious.
Because it's the old school name.
Yeah.
History.
Yeah.
And but I saw today that they're thinking about making a Jacksonville Music Museum, which I think is a great idea because there is so much rich history here. I mean, you have between Leonard Skinner and the Allman Brothers, and also, yeah. Well, Graham Parsons went to high school here. Woody Guthrie wrote 88 songs here. I mean, there's so much history
Beatles
too.
were here.
And there's some when the Beatles refused to play for a segregated audience, and a lot of stuff that's happened here. And so, I mean, that's what I always found fascinating, you know, when I moved here, because I'm not here. And, you know, I'm sitting here thinking, guys, there's all this really cool stuff about Jacksonville, and I always felt like maybe that everybody didn't really appreciate that.
Well, I think you hit
as much
such
as
a
they should.
nail on the head. As far as history of this area, there's so much history of St. Augustine to Jacksonville to Fernandina and even below that is hidden. Like this place, most people say, where is Beluthahatchee? And they're surprised to find out it's in Fruit Cove, or St. John's, they're calling it now. But they're surprised to find out. I mean, there's so much history in this area. And I think a folk singer or Americana artist, his job is to, part of it, one thing we talked about earlier, but also to unlock those hidden histories and share the story.
Yeah, I mean, that's what when I'm reading Stetson's books and
Right.
I'm like listening. What I've been doing this week is I've been listening to the WPA field recordings.
That's awesome.
Which is all music from here, from this area, from Florida. And, you know, it's like inspiring me or influencing me. I don't know. I'm just listening. I'm not, you know. And so that's what I'm trying to do, is create this environment where you can immerse yourself in the local history, in the local music, do research, have peace, and just put it all together and then see what comes out.
That's right.
You know.
So what do people do if they want to apply to do the songwriter resident or artist
Well,
resident?
go to the Stetson Kennedy website, StetsonKennedy.com/ artist residency, and it's pretty easy to find. And there's an application process. Very, you know, just basically say why, what are your qualifications, what do you want to do. I mean,
right.
Unfortunately, we can only accept 3 to 4 songwriters per year, so it is extremely limited. But you know, it'd be nice if you want to just come out for the day and like write a song. So there's nothing stopping you from coming.
That's right.
And anybody who knows me, I'll be here for another 10 days, and you can see for yourself.
Beautiful.
So how about another song?
Yeah, what you got for us, bro?
This is so when I was in Nashville, you know, everybody in Nashville, but there is this sense that like you want to write a hit song, right? So I'm like, I've never thought about that. Like for myself, I'm like, I'm not gonna write a hit song. Like that's just not what I'm trying to do or whatever. And I was just thinking, you know, I'm always thinking about politics in the world, and one of the things I think that's happening, and one thing that I'm trying to go against, is kind of like dumbing everything down. You know, media is like focuses on, you know, getting people upset rather than educating people.
Right.
And really, that's what their job is.
To educate people.
Right.
Not to entertain them.
Right. We're addicted to entertainment, right, when we need to get addicted to education.
That's right. I'm with you on that one.
And so one of the things that I'm doing during the pandemic, since I can't really work that much, is I'm taking a lot of online education classes and, you know, just trying to put good inputs. When you put good things in here, good things come out.
No.
That's my theory. It's a hypothesis.
I like it.
I haven't tested it.
You are testing by living.
Yeah, but you know, it's just good. It's like eating healthy food. You need healthy information.
That's right.
You know, so. But anyway, you know, we should all take personal responsibility to, you know, educate ourselves on science in the world and other people's experiences that are different from our own.
Yes.
Just because things are okay in your part of the world does not mean that it's okay for everybody else. That's called anecdotal information. It's when you take your personal experience and then assume that that's the same for everyone else, and that's not true.
That's right.
So we need to be scientifically empathetic in our research. But anyway, this song is called Dumb It Down. Well, the world is getting harder every day. People feeling frustrated, which leads to hate. To talking heads that think they are great, but no one is learning, man, it'll be too late. Alright, 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 alright. Some people say that you don't have a heart. Some people are too smart. But if we do our part, we'll all be okay. You don't have to worry, we'll show you the way. So don't dumb it down, don't dumb it down, don't dumb it down, don't dumb it down. Ignorance ain't bliss, it'll give you a frown. So I'm telling you now, don't dumb it down, 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 down. Woo. I play guitar and you fix my car. Don't you dismiss all other parts, 'cause life is a farce and it hurts real hard, and you won't get far dumbing it down, 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 down. Don't dumb it down, don't dumb it down, don't dumb it down, don't dumb it down. You're insane bliss, it'll give you a frown. So I'm telling you now, down, 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 down. Woo! Now I came to this town to be part of this sound. I threw myself into the lost found, and they'll blow your kiss. Will you tell all the town, or just keep it hidden deep underground? So don't dumb it down, don't dumb it down, don't dumb it down. Ignorance ain't bliss, it'll give you a frown. So I'm telling you now, don't dumb it down, 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 down.
Nice.
Yeah. Thank you. Well, I hope you're all having a good Father's Day, and I hope you're having a good solstice. Was it a full moon, a new moon, or something
Lunar
else?
eclipse.
Lunar eclipse. Did it happen already, or is it going to happen?
I think it already happened.
Oh. Oops.
It's like a lot of stuff. So a lot of astrological things, crazy things happened yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
So there were 7 lineups of planets going retrograde and all kinds of things. It's pretty interesting.
Was Mercury in retrograde?
Yeah.
No, I don't think it matters about that one specifically.
Probably.
It is.
Probably.
Well, they say it's a good time for planting seeds for the future. That's what it all represents. That's what this whole weekend was.
Oh, okay.
A big transition through the veil.
I'd like to thank you all for joining us, and if you support what we're doing, please consider donating to the Stetson Kennedy Foundation, because it's them and St. Johns County for kind of who support this project, and it wouldn't happen without your support.
Or Stetson's dream of having an artist in resident.
Right, it was Stetson's dream, so we can't let Stetson down. It's Father's Day. And
yeah, bring him up in the picture.
Too close.
Bring him over there. There's Stetson. Happy Father's Day, Stetson.
Stetson.
Very nice.
Nice.
Yeah, unfortunately, I never met Stetson. I just missed him, but because I came here right after he passed away, but the other day I actually locked myself out of the residency, the house that I'm staying in, and this woman's like coming up the trail, and
She's watching.
Anna Maria's watching.
Yeah.
Hey, Anna Maria. And I was like, oh, I'm sitting there kind of like embarrassed because I had locked myself out of the house. But then I ended up talking to Anna Maria and found out she was friends with Stetson and all this stuff. And so we ended up having coffee together. And that's kind of my way of being able to have coffee with Stetson in a way. And so it was a great day, and she told me a story, and I even got a song out of it. So it's like just being here, like I'm telling you, like I'm finishing songs that I couldn't finish. I'm still ones every day, and it really is to have this sacred space to create in is unique. Anybody who knows, sometimes if you're just sitting on the couch at home, it's not that easy to have that mental space to write or to even to do your best work.
And a quick shout out to all of our former artists in residence. Y'all are all awesome, and I've enjoyed getting to know you, and thank you for coming to Beluthahatchee.
Yeah.
Come back and visit, by the way. We miss you.
Yeah, I mean, we do. We miss y'all, and hopefully, when it's safe, we'll be able to start up again. But
by the way, she wants you to play the song that you created after her conversation.
Oh, jeez.
You're getting a request right now.
I just wrote it. I don't have the paper in front of me right now. I don't know.
Next time, Anna Maria.
I'll do it.
I'm sure you'll do it for her, especially.
Yeah, I'll send you your own. You need to add me on Facebook though, because I messaged you on WhatsApp, and it did nothing. You never responded.
So.
Okay, great. But I'll send you a video later, just right now.
So before we close up, sing us one more song. You got one more song?
Yeah. Well, this is the Go with the Flow. I forget why I was here. It was not during the residency. It was screen when I was passing through. Then we had like our little administrative meetings. Speaking of that, we're always looking for ways to partner with the community too. If you're out there listening and you have a project where you need songwriters, just reach out and we'll see how we can help. But I thought of this song. I didn't write it while I was here, but I kind of thought that I sang the chorus in my head, and then I ended up writing it later. But it was also inspired by Beluthahatchee, so it's called Go with the Flow. Well, there's so many fish in the sea. If you don't think I'm special, why are you talking to me? Well, we can go on like this for years, but I don't want to see you drowning in tears. You got to go with you gotta know and you gotta know. 'Cause if you miss it, you're gonna be sad. When I think of what I can see you're feeling bad. But now I'm kinda glad that it's gone. sit and wait till you cry, cry, cry. But don't ask yourself why. Just go get it done. 'Cause everything else is a waste of time. You gotta go with the flow. You gotta know when you gotta know. If you miss the boat, you're gonna be sad, sad, sad. When I think of what I had, I can see you're feeling bad. But now I'm kinda glad. Well, you know, sometimes you can't do me. You can just slow down, don't be in a hurry. 'Cause if you're on the right road, you're gonna get there. There's no reason to do. Go with the flow. You gotta know when you got. 'Cause if you miss the boat, gonna be sad, sad, sad. When I think of what I had, I can sit here feeling bad. But now I'm kinda glad that it's gone. But you know, sometimes it gets dark and gloomy. But you just slow down, don't be in a hurry. 'Cause if you're on the right road, you're gonna get there. There is no reason to despair. You got to go with the flow. You know when, 'cause if you miss the boat, you're going sad. When I think of what I had, I can sit here feeling bad. I'm glad that it's gone. Now I'm so glad that it's gone.
Yeah,
Thank you, thank you.
one of my favorite your recent songs. Awesome.
Well, thank you. That's Stetsons. At Beluthahatchee Park. Thanks again to Stetson Kennedy Foundation. If you want to find out more project, StetsonKennedy.com website. Thank you to St. John's County Park for us here. And thank you all for tuning in. If you want, have a great day. And share the what do you call it?
Facebook.
Yeah, on Facebook. Please share. Let us know because that's the only way they're going to know. And have a great summer.
Awesome. Thanks, Brad. That's great. That was awesome.